Hello guys and welcome to Footsteps and Tyretracks. Well, today we continue with our Android car launchers, but today we're going to have a little bit of a difference. Today I'm going to teach you how you can make your own launcher. It may not have all the features of some of the other launchers, but it can give you exactly what you want. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what I've quickly made up, and then we're going to go back from the beginning and I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. Now, again, I've said in previous videos, I'm not much of a designer, so I'm not brilliant, but I'm going to show you what I can do, and if I can do it, I'm sure you can do even better. And I will also share the template that I'm using to make the actual desktop with you in case you want to do it, so you can modify it yourself. And I'll give you details about that later on in the video. Okay, so as with every video I've made in this series, I'm doing it on my trusted Samsung tablet at the moment, although we will be moving into the car soon because some of the next car apps, not straight away, but some of the car apps will need to be done in the car because they won't actually work on a tablet. I've tried them, they don't do it. Anyway, you can see there is my desktop. What do you think? I've modelled it off the Enon head unit we got in our car, and that's where I took my ideas from. The first downside of this is the widgets. You do struggle to find suitable widgets, but if you're clever and you can make your own widgets, then even better. But there you are. So we've got down the side, we've got some shortcuts. We've got shortcuts down along the bottom. We have a map view, although this particular view is a traffic view. It's not a map view, but we can go into the map if we want to. The speedometer works from GPS, and then you got your weather there, but you could have anything you want, you really could. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you right back to the beginning, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do all this. Well, here we are, we're back, and we're back to a standard tablet. Now this could be your head unit. Let's face it, this could even be your phone if you really wanted to do this on your phone. So we're going to make this into a car launcher. It looks pretty bland and pretty normal, doesn't it? So the first thing we want to do is we want to install Nova Launcher. So we're going to go into Google Play, and then we're going to search for Nova Launcher. So first of all, we've got to install Nova Launcher. That is a free app. But I really do advise that you also pay for the full version of it, which would be called Nova Prime. So we're just going to look for Nova Prime. I've already purchased it. So we're going to install that, and then we're going to open. There's no permissions required. So let's just open up the Nova app. So we go into Nova Launcher, and we'll run through the get started. I'm going to take you through and show you some of the settings as well. So this video is going to double up really. This is also going to take you through customizing Android generally. So even if you haven't got a car head unit, this will show you how you could customize your Android. And towards the end, I'm going to talk about a few other bits and pieces I've found on my little journey in customizing this launcher, just to see how far we can go. And I'll show you a few bits and pieces that I've found. I'm also going to show you a bit on the design side, and as I said, I'm very basic at that, but I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, so you get an idea just how to go about doing it. So let's start with the launcher and we'll go through the setup. So we're going to get started. So you can see there at the very bottom there is a restore backup. Now later on I will show you how to create a backup. We could do that now if I wanted to, because I have created a backup, and it would take you straight back into all your settings. I'm not going to do that currently. We're going to go through and do it together. So let's get started. So this is the settings I chose when I was using it. I'm not by most an expert on this. I've learned over the last couple of days looking for alternatives in Android car launchers. So this is what I have decided to go with. And if you've got better ideas, please tell me down below, and tell me why I've done things slightly wrong, or maybe you agree with what I'm doing. I don't know, but let's have a look and carry on down. So in the mode, you've got window mode or immersive. I've gone for immersive. Shortcut search, local on device. I've allowed that. Contact search, I've switched off. The search bar, I've gone for none. I don't really want a search bar on my home screen on my Android car launcher. However, if you're doing it on a tablet or a phone, maybe you do. I don't know, but that's my choice there. And the app drawer, now you can have it top, bottom or none. Now I'm going to leave it at top for the moment. So the app drawer style, you can have a vertical, a list or horizontal, and you can show the keyboard, frequently used apps, shortcuts and small folders. I'm just going to leave it as that is. So next we come into the icon size. Now I messed around quite a bit, and you want it to be visible, but you don't want it to be so small. I went for 115%. I thought that looked quite nice, and then you got a choice of how you want your icons to look. You got the default sort of look. You can have them round, what they call squarical. Squarical? Yeah, squarical. A square circle maybe. How is that different to the rounded, you know? So you got the choices there. Flower, and then you've even got more choices. So you could, you know, if you really wanted to go into it, you know, you got teardrop, pebble, vessel, pentagon. That's interesting. They got hexagon and hexagon, but two different shapes of hexagon. They got heptagon, octagon, and crop. So many choices. I'm going to go for squircle. Just because I like the name, Squircle. Squircle. Yeah. Go on, you say it. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Anyway, so we've done that. We're going to carry on. And there you are, setup is finished. So let's go home. So that's it. We've set up the basics. But if we go back into it, it's obviously not our default launcher at the moment, is it? That's it. So what do we need to do? We need to set it as a default app, don't we? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our settings. We've done this a few times now, or you've seen this a few times. We've not necessarily done it with some of our apps because we didn't want it to be our default app, but we have to do it on this one. So I'm going to go into default app, choose default apps, then going into my home app, default home app, that's what we want to change. And you can see all the different launchers that we've been messing around with there. And you can see, for those of you who are waiting to see Vivid, yes, I have been trying it, but it will not work on a tablet. It keeps on crashing out, so we will be moving into the car very shortly, and we'll be doing Vivid, plus a few others. So for the time being, we want to do Nova Launcher. So there we are, we're in Nova Launcher now, and initially we've got a very, very bland screen. We go up, 2 fingers, just slide up, That's a default gesture that's already in there, and you go into the Nova settings. Okay, so you don't even have to go in and do that. You literally just go in, slide 2 fingers up, and that brings you up. So we're going to go down through the Nova Launcher settings now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did last time, and I really, really encourage any of you who think I could do something better to please tell me down below, because we're all here to learn, aren't we? And if we can learn to do something better, brilliant. You know, tell us down below. Let's all have a conversation and let's do something better. And if someone really knows how to do car-related widgets, or knows of a source of car-related widgets, let us know, because that would take this even further. And I'll do a second video and we can get that all sorted out as well. Anyway, back to what we're talking about now. So we go into the home screen, and you can see the bar at the top, so it gives you an indication of what we're going to see with relation to the actual apps on the actual device, so the shortcuts on the device. So we got the ability, well, first of all, we see the icon size. We've already set that to 115%, but you could wait and do it here. Then we got label. Now, if I turn label off, you can instantly see all the labels below get turned off. Or we can go in and change the font size, the size of the labels, so you can see how I can make the labels bigger. The font can be condensed, light, medium. Now, you may want, when you're driving, it just to be a little tiny bit more obvious than normal, because you're glancing over and it's not like you're reading your phone, you're glancing over. So you might decide that's enough. You might decide you actually want it a little bit heavier. So we can go from medium to normal. So you can see it gets a little bit heavier, and we can obviously make the font a lot bigger as well. So we don't want to go bigger than the app icon too much, because it will look silly, I think. So I'm going to leave it at that setting on normal. So if I do single line, it's not going to change, is it? Well, if you had a word that was bigger than Nova Launcher, possibly, that would change it to 2 lines, so the words would be top and bottom, so to speak. Next, we come down to the grid. Now, this is how you want your icons placed out. And I thought long and hard about this, and I don't know if I've really gone for the right way, but I decided that I wanted 7 across, and I wanted 5 down. Whether that's the right spacing, I don't really know. And you have this option for subgrid placing. Now, it allows widgets and icons to be placed halfway through the grid cells. Now, you'll see later on why that is important, because sometimes you don't exactly want everything to line up in a uniform manner. You want some of your icons, maybe some of your widgets, just appear overlapping on other ones. So that's why we're doing that. So then we come down to the padding. Now, the padding is exactly what it says. It's padding around the icon. So if I was to show you, you give that much padding, so that gives you enough space around your icons and your widgets. Now, I don't want that, because we've already talked about overlaying. So the last thing we want to do is have a padding when we're overlaying. So we're going to leave that as it is, none times none. And then we come to the dock. Now, just remember, the desktop grid is 5 by 7. And we want our dock to be the same. We want it to be 7 across. We don't want it to be any different. We want one, and I'm going to go back to the top now. I was just showing you that would be there. So the dock is enabled. The icon size is 115% again. So this is what you're seeing. So we're matching desktop size. Do we want labels? It's switched off. Do you want them on? Do you want them off? I'm going to leave them off on this particular occasion. Padding. Now you'll see that on the dock it gives a little bit of padding as standard. Now we're not going to change that because that's not going to affect our design. So we're going to leave that as it is. You might want to change it for your design. Dot background. Do we want a different dot background? So you can see there we can change the dot background to whatever we want. So you can go whatever you want. So there we are, we've changed the background, but we could literally take anything we want. And if we didn't want that, we could turn it off and it goes back to transparent, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, dock icons, we talked about the 7 across. I wanted to do that straight away so you understood why I was doing 7. And that's to match exactly how we've done it on the grid on the main screen. We only want one dock page. We don't want it to scroll. We don't want to be scrolling left or right. And if we go into advanced, display as an overlay. Do we want to display it as an overlay? I'm not going to. Do we need to? I don't know. Automatically close and remember position. I don't think we need to do any of them. We're going to leave that as it is. So that's dock. And we come down, search bar placement. This is what we were talking about earlier. This is your Google search bar. Would you want one? Do you want it as a widget? Do you want it in the dock above the icons, below the icons? So you could put it in the dock. You could put it in a dock below. You could have it persistent so it's there all the time. I'm going to say none. I don't think I personally would want to be using it unless you're parked up, maybe. Entirely up to you, but that's where it is. The way I'm designing it, I'm not using it, but that's not to say that's not the way that you want to design it. We come down a bit further. So we got wallpaper scrolling. So if your screen was to go further down, your wallpaper would move. I don't know. I'm going to say off. I'm just going to have my wallpaper static. The design we're doing is to have one static page with items on there. And if we were going to have more, we'd swipe left or right to other screens, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to have this one page in this example. Could take it further if you wanted to. Then we come down to the widget corner radius. So this is an interesting one. So you know your widgets, like, I've got like lovely corners on them. You can just change it, you know, how square you want it or how round you want it. Entirely up to you. I'm going to leave it quite square, or am I going to leave it quite rounded? I don't know. We'll leave it sort of midway, but it gives you an idea of what you can do. So it just gives it that softer look when it's actually on your screen. So it just looks nice, like that little pill sort of look. So we got the transition effect. So we can change, you know, you can have a simple transition, or you can have it more complicated. You can have cube, card stack. Now, I want a transition effect, but I don't want it really flashy, because I'm driving on it, so I don't really want to see that. So I'm gonna leave it at simple. Hopefully that is what you'll like as well. So we're gonna come down a bit further. Page indicator. So now if you've got multiple pages, you can see it as multiple dots with a highlighted dot, or just a line, or none. I'm going to select none because we've got one page, so I don't need to see an indicator. Add apps to the home screen. Now if you install a new app, you go into Google Play and you download so you can install it. This is the option where you can have it automatically put a shortcut onto your home screen. Now, in this scenario, we're not going to want it, are we? Because once we've designed our home screen, we're going to want to keep it as it is. We're not going to want to change it. So we leave that switched off. But if you wanted to add it, automatically you just switch it on. But that's how you turn it on and off. Then we go into the advanced settings. And you can see here we have lock layout. So when we've finished our complete design and we're really, really happy with it, we turn that one on. That's locked. The home screen's locked then, so you don't have to worry about messing it up. But we'll leave that off for the minute because we've got to do stuff. Show shadow. This puts a shadow at the top and bottom of the screen, increases contrast of the status bar icons. So we're going to do that. It's just going to give us a little tiny bit of definition to the screen when we're looking at it. Widget overlap. Yes, we want that. You know, when we got two widgets, we want, you know, you might have one and another one that just needs to sit over it a little bit so they look nicer. So, you know, so you get a better feeling. And I like that. Allow home screen items to overlap when being placed. So we've got to do that as well. So we want to do that. And wallpaper zoom effects. Zoom in and out of wallpaper when transitioning between states. Do we want that? I'm going to leave it for the moment. We'll see what it does. And if we like it, we'll leave it. If we don't, we can take it off. So that's our home screen settings. So then we come down to the app drawer. Now, we're not really going to be too worried about this one because it's not going to affect what we're doing. Now, you might want to change your app drawer, have your icons smaller, larger, or whatever. But this is where we go through. So you have the same options again. You have your icon size. You can match the desktop size. You can have your labels on or off. Your grid size. Now, we did do 7x5, didn't we? So I'm gonna just have everything exactly the same. Colors, so we go in here, we can change the system palette if we want to. App drawer style, do you want it vertical, list or horizontal? We're just gonna leave it at vertical. Transition, so you've got transitions, so you can have a zoom. You can see that zoom there, slide up, or fade. So entirely up to you which one you want. We'll just stick with the slide up for now, and we'll say okay. Search bar placement. You can see the search bar. We can have none in the app drawer. Remember, this is the app drawer. We can have it in the top, or we can have it in the bottom. So I'm just going to leave it at the top. This is in the app drawer, this is when you want to search for an app. So it's a quicker way if you've got lots of apps. Tab bar placement. You can see apps, the tabs for the apps. Now, I don't use this, but you could have it top, bottom, again, or none. And there's settings there, so we could change the type of tab it is, classic or a bubble. We could isolate tabs, and we can have menu action, so we could have search, Play Store, menu. If I say okay there now, but I don't think we want to do that currently, so we're going to leave that off and leave that as it is. We won't be using it, so I think what we'll do is we'll go to none and leave that as it is. Frequently used apps. Keep commonly used apps at the top row for quick access. Well, yeah, I think you'll want to do that, but it's entirely up to you. Frequently used shortcuts at the top. Yes, we're going to leave that. Smart folders. Automatically organise my apps into folders. Yes, that can be quite handy, but if you don't want to, that's where you can change it. Contribute app categorizations to help improve the product. Well, you know, that's entirely up to you. I'm going to leave it at ask. The app drawer, to get to it, you swipe, have an icon or other. Now, the other, I presume we're going to go in here. Maybe not. So we go other. Okay, we'll leave it on swipe. And in the settings there you have haptic feedback and a swipe indicator. And place a small indicator arrow above the dock. Interesting. Okay, app drawer. Pull to search, pull down at the bottom of the app drawer to open the search bar. Now we don't need to do that because the search bar is actually there. Show keyboard, immediately show the keyboard when the app drawer is opened. Well, yes, you may want to do that. Maybe you don't want to do that. Easy enough to switch on and off though. Fast scroll bar, add a thumb slider to quickly navigate apps alphabetically. Could be handy, couldn't it? So that's where you do that. Now, this isn't always a good one, hide apps. Now, sometimes there's certain apps you just don't want to see. Let's go down through and hide a few apps. So we've got a game there, authenticator, what else do we want? We'll just hide a few, just so you can get the idea. DJI Mimo, Galaxy stuff, Gaming Hub, Google Home, Home Assistant, Internet, Messages, Motion Ninja. I'm doing quite a few here, so you really do get the idea of how good this can be. Really cleans up everything. OneDrive, Outlook, PenUp, Samsung again. There we are, we've hidden quite a few apps there. Apps that wouldn't necessarily be useful when we're driving, and it gives you a good indication of what's hidden away. So that's in the app drawer in hide apps. Then we come down to drawer groups. So you can start adding things into various different groups. For instance, you look there, entertainment, you've got BBC iPlayer, Channel 4, Disney, social, Facebook, Telegram, and it slowly starts grouping bits and pieces together. So if you want to put things together, that's how you do it. We'll come back out of that one. Work apps in their own tab. So if you've got work apps that you specifically use, they can go in there. That is your app drawer. Technically, you don't really need to worry about doing much to it, but if you did, that's how you do it. Folders. So look at the folders. So again, the first thing we have is the icon size. So you can see, now the folder is when you have a folder that you open up on your desktop, should you have a folder on your desktop. This is going to be more suited to if you're customizing your phone or your tablet, not so much for car use maybe. But you can see there, you've got your folder that opens up and you've got your apps inside. It's following the desktop in it, so we'd have to switch it off. And then you can change your sizes as and what you want. We're just going to match desktop for here. You can turn your labels on and off. So that would turn your labels off. You have your colors, your mode. Is it a window? Is it immersive? I'm not sure what immersive would, I see what immersive would look like, okay. So we'll go back to window. Do you want a shadow? You can just about see the shadow appear and disappear there. The corner radius, again, that's on the, you can see the corner radius on the bubble changing. It's getting squarer or it's getting smoother, nice rounded. Do you want them grid? So that doesn't actually have any set in there. Scroll direction, do you want to go horizontal or vertical? And the folder appearance. So if we go in there again, you can decide how you want your folder to appear. Do you want it to be like a radio? a grid, a stack, a fan, a line, loads in there. It's great. I'm just going to put a grid, but what control? Not that it's going to help us much on our Android car launcher, is it? But you might like it. So that's folders. We're going to come down a bit further. And I know some of this isn't necessarily important for putting our car launcher skin together, but what it is good for is showing you how you can customize your Android phone or your Android tablet as well. So we're going to carry on down. We're going to go into search. And here, the search mode can be immersive or windowed. So you can see the difference there in the screen, how that happens. Limit apps to one row. So you can limit apps to one row. Nova micro results, instant on-device calculation, unit conversions, device links for package tracking, numbers, and more. Well, I'm not quite sure what that does, and if anybody knows, please tell me down below. But we'll have a look. Folders. So this is all search anyway, so you can search your Nova folders. Do you want a shortcut for your search? Card view. Display your results in card view. If I turn it off, does it show anything? It doesn't. Contact search. Get contact results with Nova, so you could go for your contacts as well. So you'd need to allow permissions on that one. So I'm just going to say allow, and then you would be able to search your contacts as well. Connect other apps and services to get more searchable links. So you could go in here and you might want to link Spotify, so you can search for music, say for instance. So that's now just going to go and ask me if I can allow Spotify, and it started Spotify playing. Hopefully the sound doesn't come on. There you are, it's added shortcuts for Spotify now. So we're just going to go back out of integrations and web suggestions, the service query when searching. So you can use Google, DuckDuckGo, or none. So we're going to stick to Google. Interestingly enough, I see a lot of DuckDuckGo searches in the statistics on this channel. I've never used it myself, but I do see a lot of people obviously do use it, and that's how they find this channel. So quite interesting. I must have a look at it sometime. Come down through, you've got your search more providers. So if we click in here, we can decide which ones we want to use. Do we want, we've got Google, Play Store, Wikipedia, Google Maps, Spotify, YouTube, Google Web. Is that not the same as Google? I'm not sure. DuckDuckGo, you see, it's a little DuckDuckGo and Nova Launcher have a revenue share agreement. Search and Duck helps support Nova Launcher. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay. And YouTube Music, so you could do that, or you could add another search provider should you have one you specifically want to use. Let's go back. Request keyboard not to track what is typed. Yeah, I think we all want that these days. Desktop search bar, so you can go in and you've got exactly the same here now. You can go into your desktop search bar, you can have the weather in there. You got your radius, you can do your shadows again. So you can use Google Assistant, voice search, Play Store. Now voice search might be handy. You might want to search for something while you're driving, mightn't you? So we'll turn that one on. And we got Google Assistant turned on. Maybe we'll try that a little bit later. And then we go into the drawer search. And you have similar sort of options. You've got voice search, Google Assistant. I'm going to turn them on. And we'll see how we get on with that. Anything that's voice search when you're driving in the car, it's got to be a good thing, isn't it? And Nova Now search bar. So that's your Nova Now search bar. So if I show you, you can enable it, disable it, have a shadow. can just about see that. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. And you come with a radius again, so you can go square or rounder. And change your colours as well. So there we are, I can go in and change your colours should you so want to. And that is search within Nova. Then we come down to cards. So there's your card. So we have media control. So if I go into the settings there, you can show that one when media is playing, show it in the app drawer when media is playing. Don't show media card for these apps. So you could then go in there, I presume. It doesn't allow you to select any. Okay. Then you've got the views, so you could have a compact view. You can see the compact view there. Share the link of the current track. When listening to Spotify, display additional items. So let's go in there. So you can see recently played tracks, your playlist, or your queue. So that is talking to Spotify. I can see it will also talk to Deezer as well, should you have Deezer. So that's cards. And then you come down a little bit further and we have various different cards here that we can modify. So activate in Nova now. So you've got daytime, Wi-Fi network when weather changes. So that's different cards you can use. And I think that also is seen as widgets. So we'll just come out of that one. So we'll go back into cards. You can have photos, you can have screenshots and map locations. So it's scheduled to see where your favorite places with navigational shortcuts. That was cards. Now we're going to go into the look and feel. Now, we've already decided on our icon style, but this is where you could go in and change it again. So you see all the options we looked at earlier, and you've got the ability to reshape legacy icons, adaptive icon animations, shadow, and Android 7.1 icons. Prefer icons meant for Android 7.1 or lower instead of modern icons. So you could give it a bit more of a retro feel if that's what you wanted. Come down, allow home screen rotation. So, you know, if you've got a Tesla screen, say for instance, and so you'd want that. And it allows any app within the design to sit the right way as well and look proper. Because if you don't allow that, you may find that some apps won't quite work as you'd hoped. App animation when launching and returning to apps, we have seen that already, but you can see there, adaptive icon, you're going to circle reveal, slide up, zoom, blink, slide left, anything you want. We're just going to leave it as it is. Pop-up menu. So we go into the pop-up menu and you can see the pop-up menu there again. We have the ability to change little bits and pieces again, so we can curve it. You can see what menus are available. Drop targets. During drag and drop, zoom out of the desktop and show targets including remove, uninstall app and info. Yes, we'll have that one. Show undo bar, always handy. Disable animations. If you don't want the animations, that's the perfect way to disable them. Show notification bar. So you got your notification bar, we can show or hide it. Transparent notification bar. Your notification bar is at the top, remember, so if you want to see that. But sometimes when we add extra bits and pieces, you get some more important information up there, like maybe Bluetooth information, weather information perhaps, temperature. So I like to leave it there. Transparent navigation bar, and use dark icons in the notification bar or home screen. So you can have that on, off, or auto. We're going to leave it at auto. And that is your look and feel. So then we come down to gestures and inputs. So here I've already told you can swipe up and get your settings, which is already in there. You have the return to the main screen homepage with the first tap, execute with a second tap. But gestures, swipe up with one finger gets the app drawer, swipe down, expand notifications, swipe left is nothing at the moment, but if we wanted to set something to it, you just go in there and we can decide what we want. Maybe we want to swipe left, and let's just say we wanted Waze to come in, and that is if we swipe left. So we're just going to go like that, and Waze should come in. Now, handy when you're driving it, you're driving, left-hand drive or right-hand drive. For me, right-hand drive. Swipe left, for you, maybe a right-hand drive. Right-hand drive, left-hand drive, and you want to swipe that way. So you'd swipe it to the right. I don't know. Or do you want to swipe it to you? Being silly now, not really. Anyway, it gives you the option of doing whatever you want. You can have a double tap on the screen, 2 fingers, pinch out, so you can do pinch out, 2-finger rotation, volume maybe. I wonder if we can do that. I wonder if we can do volume. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's a shame. Apps. That's not going to give us volume, is it? Let's just double check just in case there is a volume that appears. No. No, that's a shame. That'd be very, very good if we could have volume with 2 fingers, wouldn't it? Desktop Pro, I'm just going to double check just in case. But that might be something we could add. And that just takes you back to how configurable this is. And that's like Agama. Do you remember when I was showing you Agama, how you could turn up and turn down the volume just by your finger? Brilliant idea. I think it's better than the slide up, slide down, just because it's a natural thing that you turn your volume up. So it just feels more natural. So you got all those gestures there that you can configure. Maybe not configure as deeply as we want to, but you can configure. So that was gestures. Then we have this one called Feed Page. Nova now is a customizable surface made up of your apps, shortcuts and cards that aims to help and reach relevant content in your apps that you might need. So I didn't really touch this page when I set it up earlier, and I'm not going to do anything on this particular video because I know what I want was working with it as it was. Maybe that's something we can have a look at another stage if somebody wants me to. Then we got integrations, and we actually did Spotify just now, didn't we? And you can see what else have we got down there? Deezer, Calendar, Twitch, Slack, Discord, Dropbox, GitHub. You can shortcuts in app search, shortcuts in icon long press menu, Sesame shortcuts. I'm not sure what Sesame shortcuts are. It's not installed though, so it's obviously an extra you have to install. I'll write down below what Sesame shortcuts is. I've got no idea currently. So then we go down, we got notification badges. So that is when you get a notification. Do you want large ones, medium or small? Do you want notification pop-ups? Switch it on and off, and test a notification badge. So we'll do it again. So you can have your notification anywhere you want, in any size you want. So I need to give it permission. Now, I didn't do this before, and I really hope this doesn't mess up everything. So let's try testing that notification. Okay, that doesn't seem to do anything. So I'm just going to turn that back off because I'm going to leave it the way I wanted it. And then we come down to backup and restore. This is what I was telling you about earlier. Now, if you want to back up your current configuration, it literally takes you to your memory and allows you to back up. You give it the backup name you want, and then off you go. So you can see there's our tablet, files on the root of the tablet, and you get the chance to, well, it's in your downloads folder actually, and you can back up or restore. So that is a backup. So I'm just going to save that just to show you how easy it is. And there it is, your backup's created. Now, something we've not seen on the others is that you can actually share your backups with your friends easier. I mean, you can do it anyway with the other ones, but this is, you know, they thought about it a little bit more. You can actually send it by whatever apps you've got installed, really, because there's some things that are not installed on here that you may have installed, so that you would see them appear there. And you have the ability to restore. Now, if we go down through, you can see I have some backups there already. We're not going to touch any of that at the moment because I really want to take you through every step of the way. And then you saw at the beginning, the one we had, and that is actually called Final Design. So we'll go back. So below that you have Quick Start, which relaunches the initial setup process, like we saw as we got in there. So we're going to skip that. Or we have the reset to default, so we can remove all the customizations and start from scratch. We don't want to do that because we've just gone through and changed a few bits. So we'll go back, and then we just come down. It shows you that Nova Prime is currently version 81006 or 8.1.6. And you can tap just see your changelog if you really want to see that in any updates. You've got your select default launcher. Well, we've already done that, but if you were to select that, that is another way to get into your default home app. Say thanks if you want to tip them. What we got there. So oh, it's just to go in and rate it. So let's go back, say thanks. Then we got about. So it tells you a little bit about. And the very last one is if you want to contact support. Right, so there's where we are. And then the other side, we have style. We're not going to worry about that currently because that is really not going to have much effect at this moment in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the home page, and this is where we're going to start designing. Well, now I've taken you through all the settings. What we want to do now is we want to look at this and turn it into something that's going to be representative of our driving experience, what we want to actually be there. You know, we want our custom launcher. So the first thing we need to do is we need to have a plan in place, and we have to have some form of design. Now, what I'm going to do is the only way I think we can come up with a really good design is by looking at something else and trying to recreate it. So I'm going to take you from the tablet, and I'm now going to take you onto my PC where I'm going to show you how I came up with the ideas, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up Canva on my PC. So I'm going to start recording that, and I'm going to do a screen record of what I'm actually doing. So we've loaded up Canva, and the first thing we need to do is have a custom size. Now, how did I do this? Well, I got a ruler. It's not a very good ruler as well, is it? And I measured my screen, and I worked it out, it was 225 mil by 135 mil. And you can see that's the actual size I've got on the screen. So we create a new design, and that is what we're going to start off with. So that is our actual size. Now, I said to you before, I looked at the Eon head unit we had in our car, and I thought to myself, that's a good place to start for design. So what I did is I took a screenshot. So if I come down and find that, don't know if that's the actual one, but that will do. That gives you an idea. So I'm just going to fit that to the page. So let's just say that's where we started from. So we got different areas, and I'm going to create this very quickly. So I'm going to go into elements. So I'm just going to go into some shapes. So I'm going to take some basic shapes, and we're going to take rounded shapes just because they're a little bit nicer. Everything has been a bit curved, isn't it? So I've got my first one, and we're just going to have more the same. And you can see the shapes I've got there, and I'm just going to literally put them in until we're sort of happy with what we got. And you know, you can change the shape of your corners so you can have it more rounded, or you can take it out further. So let's go for 10. That's a good one to remember. I'll type it in because it's always easier. And obviously you've got 4 sides, so you can change the size. So we got that one. Then what we're just going to do is we're going to duplicate that, and we're going to pull them over, and we're going to reshape to the next one. And we're literally going to build up so I'm going to duplicate that, bring them down below. Duplicate that one. I'll take them over there. You can see how easy we're putting this together. I'm going to duplicate that one last time, and I'm going to spin him round to 90 that way, and you'll see he's almost perfect in there. So we're just going to fit him in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the position. Now you use whatever app you're using, but I'm just going to remove that one now. So I'm just going to delete that one, and then you get a better view of what we're doing here. So we might want to bring these all up a little tiny bit. I want to make sure they're all in line, so you can see as we come out we can put them all in line. The spacing is pretty much the same. Now the edge there is less than that, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the edge over slightly that side. That's not really going to do it, so maybe we've got to come this side. And I'm just guesstimating this at the moment. I really am just guesstimating this. So we have that. Now we're going to want some sort of image that like sits all over your design. So I'm just going to look for something a minute. So we're going to go into our elements. We're going to go into photos, and you can see there what I've been searching for before, and it's funny how it disappears there. Right, And I'm gonna just go down through a minute. So what shall we have? Shall we have car? Just put car in. Let's do something like that and see if we can get a nice background that would suit. Because we're not going to see a lot of it, but we are going to see a lot of it at the same time. So this could be a picture of your car, for instance, but let's use that one. So then what we're going to do is we're going to just drag that out so it actually fits in our image. So there we are, and then we're going to position that to the back, and it disappears, doesn't it? Now what you want to be doing is you want to be, and you go onto these panels that we've created, and you're probably wondering why we created the panels. Well, that's where our icons are going to sit. So I worked out that 30% transparency seemed to work quite nicely. So I'm just going to go through these. Now, we've got all our areas. Now, maybe they're not just quite dark enough. I don't know, but it gives you an idea. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to save this as a PNG file. So we're just going to file, download, and then I'm going to take you back over to the tablet. So we'll come back in a second. Right, okay, so we're here back on the tablet, and the next thing we're going to do, we've just done that little design, and we're going to go in, long hard press on one finger on the screen brings up this menu so you can see wallpapers. Now I've created quite a few wallpapers already, but we're going to go to the one I designed, and then we'll look at the other ones that I've done, and you'll just see different ideas. So you can see instantly there's the one that I put in. So I'm going to select that one, put it in as a home screen, and there we are. So that is our wallpaper. Whether it's what you'd want, I don't know, but it's just to give you an idea of how we're going to do this. Next, we want to start building things up. So we want to have apps, and we want to have widgets and various bits and pieces like that. So what we're going to do is let's put some media controls down on the left hand side first of all. So let's go into our entertainment, and we'll have good old Spotify first of all. And you can see that's not gone in exactly as we'd wanted it. So we may have to mess around with the grid settings. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a few items before we even worry about that. So we're going to come down through, and we're going to look through, and we're going to bring in a few. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this all set up. So I'm going to put a list of apps on the bottom and a list of apps on the left hand side. Then I'm going to show you how we put in the widgets. Then we're going to start trying to manipulate it so it all sits in there nicely. Okay, so we've now placed a few icons on the screen, and it looks really quite tidy, doesn't it? Now if you look to the left hand side, I've had to adjust the background panel slightly, and I've had to change the grid. The grid is now at 8. I'll just show you. I've had to go by 5 by 8 to get the icons to space out properly. And I'll show you the original wallpaper we had. So the original wallpaper was this one. This is the great thing about doing it in Canva, is you can go in and make these adjustments really quite easily. You'll see when I did the original one how poorly the icon sat on that background. Now just by going in and making it a little bit taller and a little bit narrower, if we just go back in and select the right one, you can see how much better that looks. Now we could improve it even more. We could maybe bring the lower part up to just below where it says Dab Z. That's entirely up to you. That's just design. I'm not best at design, but that's what we could do. Now we're going to add some widgets. So again, long press on the screen with one finger, and you'll see down the bottom it says widgets. So we can now bring in widgets now. A classic would be a clock maybe. So if we have a look in there, we have all various different types of clocks, and the different apps you install will give you the ability to have different widgets as well. We're just going pretty much with what we've got here. So let's take that one, and we're going to bring him over there, and we'll just see how he sits. I'm going to have it in black all the time, and there you can see how you can change the background so it just sits in there nicely. Now we know we're going to have to modify the background to suit, but we've got a basic idea. So if we say we're happy with that and we go back to the home screen, that didn't appear, did it? So let's try that again. Go to widgets, go to the clock, take that one. I'm going to have him down there, I think. And then we wanted him in black, and we wanted him about there. So we'll save that. As you can see now, he's actually sat just in the wrong place, and it doesn't matter what we do, we can either have him over there or over there. So we need to modify our background slightly to make him look right. Now, if I was to try and change, we can pull him in a little bit, but he probably won't sit properly. So we'll have that one. Above there, we'll have another widget. I'm just going to build these up, and then I'm going to show you how I can modify the desktop to suit. So it, the desktop is a little bit of a more complicated process, but you get more of what you want. So if we go back into widgets, now we've got one that does speed here. It was an app I downloaded, GPS speedometer. So we'll have that one, and we'll take him up there. That's interesting, he won't go up high enough. So maybe we're going to have to bring him down a few bits. Just bring him down a little tiny bit. Let's resize that one. Just bring him out to match. And you can see how we're building up our desktop now with information that would be good to see. Now, I haven't found a way. I would love to have Waze or Google Maps actually working there, but I haven't found a way of doing that yet. But we can do this. So if I single press on the desktop again, and we come down to Maps, there is a widget there that shows nearby traffic. So we bring that one in, and then what we can do is we can make him bigger, and then we can bring him down as much as we want. So we'll just bring him down to about there at the moment. Now obviously you could have that in different positions, so you might want him down there, but I think he looks a bit tidier up there. It's just me. You might decide differently, and you can already see how some of the background just needs sliding over a little bit to make it look neater and tidier. But that's not a problem. I'm going to show you how we do that in a minute. And we keep on building up. Now you might want to add a picture. You might decide that your background, you'd like your car sat further down, so it's sort of sat behind those icons. It's not a problem. We can do that in Canva in a minute. And you've got another area here. Maybe you want another widget. I don't know what we can put there, but let's have a look. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult now. I had this bright idea, and I just want to show you this. FCC Launcher, if you go into there, it's all these widgets. I thought, oh, fantastic. I can use FCC Launcher to actually bring in some information. So I thought, well, the app's installed, so why don't we try it? So let's just go for one. They're all 1x1s. So let's just bring in two. Let's have satellites maybe. And I thought, yeah, we can have that just sat there. So it looks good, doesn't it? It looks like it's going to work. It comes up and asks you widget style and all the rest of it. So we say okay, and it disappears. It's there, but it's sat at the back, and I cannot figure out for the life of me how to make that come to the front. So if I remove it, we're just going to do that one more time. It doesn't really matter which one we use, so we'll just use one. I'll just want to. Yeah. Now, I was hoping that there might be something like bring to the front, but there doesn't appear to be. Because if we could do that, how brilliant would that be? That means you could put a lot of custom stuff on your own design using FCC Launcher, so you could combine the two together. I can't find anything on this to make it appear. So you've got text alignment, you've got auto fit, and you've got secondary text, wrap text. There's lots of functionality to actually manipulate the widget, but once you put it there, it just disappears, which is so sad. Now, if we click on widget style, it gives you nothing again, does it? You say icon only. But there's nothing there, which is really advanced. So you can have padding, but nothing that actually allows it to stay there. It just disappears. But as you can see, it is there. So if I click on it, it will open up FCC Launcher, which is not exactly what I'm intending to do, and it wouldn't be what you would want to do either, I'd assume. So I'm just going to close all that, and we have to go there, and sadly remove him. Now, if anybody knows how we can make them work on a different screen, please tell us down below. There's lots of asking for things down below today, isn't there? But it's all about, you know, thinking about ideas, working together and showing you what we've learned. Now, I'm showing you what I've found out. Let's see if we can take it a little bit further. Who knows, that would be really good. So the last thing is we want to put one last widget in there. So we're going to look at widgets and see if there's something else we can put in there. Should we say weather? I'm just trying to put things in there at the moment. There's a weather one, so if we have a look in the weather, should we go for that one? And that's gone over the top of that one, so we want down there. And can we change that much? Don't think we can. We can change auto refresh on the go, so we'll allow that. And we'll go back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the background just suit what we're looking at a bit better. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I'm going to put it back into Canva and put that in as a layer, and then I'm going to line up everything in Canva, so then we can see exactly where we want it. And I'm going to bring that car down just so it sits in behind those icons. We'll be back very shortly. Okay, so we've now modified our background. You saw us doing that, and we're now going to go in and just bring it in. As you can see, just, you know, we got those little edges that are not quite matching up, and I just want to show you how easy it is to literally, we'll go in and we're going to pick a new image, and you can see the car actually moved down a little bit there. That's a telltale sign it's a different image. Set that as our home screen. And, you know, there's still work to do there, but you get the idea. We've moved the car down. That could be your car. You know, you could have a better picture as well. We've just picked a picture we found on the internet. And there is, for all intensive purposes, a Nova launcher based Android car launcher. What do you think? Is it any good? Would you not bother? Would you rather go for just something free that you don't have to put so much effort in? Bearing in mind, you could pretty much design that how you wanted it to be. And if your skill with graphics is better, you can have anything you want on that screen. And of course, if you've got like a Tesla type screen and you want it portrait, you can design it that way as well. So this is just trying to give you an idea of what to do. The widgets, I think, are the letdown. If we could find a way around the widgets, that would be great. Now, there are two programs I've come across that possibly allow a better widget design. Now, I'm just going to go into play while we're actually talking, and I want to show you this app. It's called KWGT. Now, if I just search for it, so it's KWGT. I'm just going to search for that. You see there, it's a custom widget maker, and so I'm going to install it, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I'm not really going to delve into it, but I'm just going to show you. This is the one I found, and probably loads of others out there, isn't there? So we're going to open that one up. It's probably going to ask for some permissions. So let's go through the settings a minute. So you've got your community. There's a Reddit community there, which always is a good sign. It's asking for location and post notifications. So we're going to allow that, and close. So now, I think what we do now is we go back to our widgets. When we come down, and there it is, custom widgets. So we got 6 widgets and 1 shortcut. So if we have a look in there, you can see the different types of widgets and an action at the very bottom. So what we're going to do is we've been working on 2x2s, haven't we? So I'm just going to take one of them in, and I'm just going to drop it there. I'm only dropping it there because I just want to quickly show you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click to set up, or long press. So click to set up. So we go in, and then you can see there, wants consent to use. So we're going to have to say yes there. Then you've got all these different types of pixel pack, or widget packs, widget packs that you can use. And there's a fair few there, isn't there? Quite a few saying free. I'm just going to I am going to just randomly pick one, and that needs to be installed. So that's almost installed there, you can see that. And let's go back to there. And that was the one we just installed, so I presume we select that one. And then we have all these different widgets, time-based, date-based, weather-based. Can we be looking and find something that would be very car related? I don't know. It's all time. It looks to me very much time and weather. Music. Let's pick that one. We'll just go down a bit further and just have a look and see what else is there, just out of interest. You're seeing it exactly the same time as I'm seeing it. I've read about it, but I didn't know anything more about it. There's lots here. There is lots here. There's another music one there. That's another music one. It's a shame there aren't no car related ones though in there. Maybe there is. Maybe I just need to do a little bit more research to find a car related one. But as you can see, well, we're going down and down and down. There is absolutely loads. Let's go back up. We try and find that music one we found earlier. And I'll show you, there it is. There's the music one. So I'll select that one. Add to favorites, view pack. I don't know, I don't know if we just select him. Double tap him. Okay. Okay. Preset loaded. And then I take it we can edit it more. We have settings there. I don't know what that's going to do. Go pro, theme light or dark, general settings, widget, widget size, widget orientation. There's quite a lot here. I think this is possibly a whole nother video to get into that, but let's go back. And there you can see that's our little widget just appeared. And I think you'd have to change it slightly to make it even better. Now let's just get something playing in the background just so we can see what it does. There we are, alternative 90s. And we'll go back to the home screen. Well, that doesn't seem to do a lot, does it? No music, missing requirements. Oh, needs notification access. Fix that. So that one there is KW custom widget. There we are. Allow that. Maybe that's what was wrong. Possibly not. Possibly not. Anyway, that's another video maybe. Should we have a look into it? Do you want me to have a look at that app in particular? Sort of goes slightly adrift of what we're doing on this channel. This is more about cars and travel, isn't it? Cars, vans and travel, and bikes. But if you want to, we'll have a look at that. So the sort of lends itself into it. Anyway, what do you think of Nova Launcher? What do you think? I think it gives you quite a lot of possibilities, doesn't it? Do you? Would you use it? Are you using it? Have you got a better layout than I have? Have you sussed out how to make it really integrate with your car? If you have, tell me down below, eh? And that really brings me to the end of another video. We got quite a few more launches to do, but the next ones are all going to be based, well, I say the next one, there's one more I think I can do on the tablet. Then we're going to be moving into the car. But for those of you who are watching this, I'm actually flying to Las Vegas in a few days to spend a little time there, and we'll have some videos coming from Las Vegas. We'll probably do a few shorts, and I might even try and do something live. I don't know yet, but for those of you who like more of our travel orientated stuff. And I believe there's a Shelby museum, so if you're into your cars, I'm going to try and go to that Shelby museum as well. We'll see. And for you punk rockers, I believe there's a punk rock museum as well, which I'm really excited about. You know, O-punk, you know, it was sort of O-punk, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching this, guys, and we'll see you very, very soon. Look after yourselves. Bye.